19 News Solutions update on a sextortion story we have been following very closely. Justice for a family whose child took his life after becoming a victim of the crime. The feds made the big announcement just a short time ago.
Today, our pursuit of justice and accountability takes a major step forward.
The U.S. Attorney for the District of South Carolina, FBI agents, and a number of other officials announced Monday during a news conference that they finally got a suspect in custody. A big indictment more than 2 years after South Carolina teen Gavin Guffey took his life.
I hope the message is clear. If you use the internet to exploit children in our state, you will be held accountable here in our courts. We will not allow predators to hide behind a keyboard or across an ocean.
Agents, along with the help of Nigerian officials, extradited a 24-year-old man to South Carolina last week. Hassan Bunhassin Abalor Luwal's charges include child exploitation and cyberstalking in the death of Gavin, along with interstate threats with the intent to extort. The suspect, accused of posing as a young woman on social media, convincing Gavin to send compromising photos, then extorted and harassed him, threatening to release those images unless Gavin sent him money. Even after Gavin's death, agents say the man tried to extort Gavin's loved ones. Gavin's father, Brandon, a South Carolina state rep, has worked tirelessly to get a law named after his son that went into effect in 2023. Gavin's law is an effort to protect other kids and their families from ever having to go through the pain.
No one thought that their kids were in a bad space whenever this happened. And the crime just targets your deepest, darkest shame, and kids don't feel like there's another way out.
Luwal faces up to life in prison, and he must pay the family restitution. Prosecutors say the suspect sent messages to several other minors. A hearing for the suspect is scheduled sometime next week.